Welcome to Transforming Us podcast. I'm Jess.
And I'm Tamara. We're trauma-informed relationship coaches and old friends here to discuss common patterns and what leads us to paths of security.
You know, people are feeling overwhelmed and disconnected in their painful relationships, which often leads to mental health crises.
We want to share some new ideas and practices to help you cultivate curiosity, compassion, and to redeem the patterns in your relationships, starting with yourself.
Join us on this journey of transforming us. Grab a cup of coffee and let's dive in. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Transforming Us podcast. We know that the holidays are a beautiful time, but let's be honest, we can feel a little bit like we're in a relationship pressure cooker. Every one of us in a marriage can agree that we need to have a balance between being partners, which is kind of that connection and intimacy, being teammates, which is that mental load and tasking, and being friends. So obviously we want our spouse to be one of our best friends to sustain marriage satisfaction over the long haul.
And that is why we're going to actually be shifting to do some shorter but very practical episodes during December, because we all know our calendars are very full. Our minds have a lot we're juggling. And sometimes our partner can honestly feel like another task on our to-do list.
Yeah, we can fall into the trap where every conversation is about logistics. Who's buying what, who's picking up who, where should the tree go, and the rhythm of partner intimacy, dating, and connection can completely disappear.
That's exactly right. And that's toxic to an actual secure connection. So when we start to neglect our partner rhythm, we disconnect from our authentic, deeply attached selves. We do recommend a date night at least once every 15 days if you're able to. But that alone is not enough to sustain intimacy. The small micro habits are actually the most transformational. So this week, we're going to actually be sharing some simple tools to just kind of help reclaim that connection and just little 15-minute daily connection resets.
Yeah, I love this because it's so practical. Date nights are really important, but they would be so much better if we do the little things to help kindle the fire in between. The idea is to carve out 15 minutes a day, every day, that's non-transactional. Okay, so let's not talk about the budget, the kids, travel plans. This time is exclusively for maybe flirting, physical connection, or just that intentional time, maybe even prayer together.
Yeah, it's a simple rhythm, but it does actually require some discipline. So you can just take 15 minutes to share even just like one good thing that happened that day. It could be, something positive. It could be something that was stressful. You could take out time just to simply hold hands, or if you have space just to cuddle and give them a hug and just, be, I guess the love languages of, just physical touch. We talk about different love languages, or, if your partner has a certain love language, to be able to do that, that it resonates to them, which is great for just reigniting the spark. So the consistent ritual shows, just when you're consistent, it shows your partner and gives them that feeling that being close to you is a priority, even when life feels hectic. Jess, can you actually share just like a quick story of a time when you and Travis were completely buried in like a stressful situation? And what was a simple non-task connection? What did that mean to your relationship when you were cognizant of that?
Yeah, I think what we really need most mornings is a few minutes of having coffee together. And I try really hard to protect some of that time to not be like task oriented or transactional. Really looking at sharing appreciations, sharing things we're curious about, or just sharing wins, ways that we feel like things are going well, maybe even harder emotions, just so that we can hear from one another. That has sustained a lot of our connection in really stressful seasons, for sure. Yeah. What about you and Taylor?
Well, I feel like, there was a time where I feel like when we've been married for 24 years, and I feel like we used to just be a lot more natural at it. And I feel like as Taylor started his business, he owns a construction company, And, I have been a fine artist as well. And we have 2 teenagers. And it just has felt like life can just feel so like full and hectic. And um, I could feel myself just getting so on task, and just even simple things like if, we're unloading the dishwasher or cleaning the kitchen, I can just get so on task that, sometimes if he just wants to come give me a hug, to like slow down and just give him a hug back instead of, just feel like I got to get this done. Hang on a second. You know what I mean? Like you just get, just those little simple things, or taking out time where like I'm just sitting on the couch and, we're just talking, like we're just like taking 15 minutes just to like talk about our day and ask about, oh, how did that go? And how did this, and just like really hearing about what the other did that day and the stories that they might have to share. Also, I feel like we will sometimes just take walks together around the neighborhood. I love walking. And so a lot of times he'll just like, if he has the energy, he'll just like join me on a walk and we can chit chat. And sometimes we can just walk in silence. It's just being each other's presence. So I would
Mhm.
say those are the things that come to mind the most for me.
Yeah. Yeah, those are really good. I think we do a lot of the same things too. And it made me remember Truity.com has like an updated love styles test. It's
Mhm,
similar to the 5 love languages, but it's kind of a little bit more accurate to where couples are at now in the, 2000s, because the love languages was written in the 90s. So
mhm,
there's, I think intellectual connection is a need for a lot of more, I guess, modern partners to feel like partners, like to
mhm,
actually have closeness. Intellectual conversation for some people is actually an addition to some of those initial love languages,
mhm,
but that's something to check out. I can put the link for that in the show notes. And then also something I learned several years ago is called the 30-second hug. And Travis and I try to do this at least once a day. And it's been researched that if you hug for more than 30 seconds, there's a natural release of oxytocin, which is the cuddle hormone that
mhm.
makes you feel bonded and close. So that consistency is key to building security, right? So once a day is great, 2 to 3 times is even better. So
Right.
it breaks the habit of connecting when it's convenient or when you need something. It's about being seen, not being solved, and that kind of connection over correction as we try to, do life together as partners.
Yeah. Well, let's leave our listeners with some just powerful questions that they can actually chew on today. And the question would be, what is the one thing that I can commit to doing for 15 minutes today that is non-transactional? And what was the last time we intentionally flirted or felt drawn to each other? Imagine it and then recreate it within a 30-second hug. Don't let the noise of the holidays drown out your partner's rhythm. Start with just 15 minutes FaceTime today and watch how that small tool can actually cultivate a deeper, more secure connection.
Awesome. Well, I know that these shorter episodes of the holidays will just be an easier, drop in the bucket, something to just help you guys stay connected. So it's always a joy to be with you. And may you be aware and open to everything that comes to you today, welcoming it all for your transformation.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Transforming Us podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the conversation and that you found it helpful. If you loved what you heard, we would really appreciate if you would take a moment and leave us a 5-star review and rating. Your support helps us reach more listeners like you.
And also, don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more relationship content. Then, if you're looking to take your growth to the next level, check out our coaching services and groups at transformingus.org.
We're here to help you transform your patterns and enjoy more secure relationships.
Until next time, in the words of Raoul Shane, you do not need to do big things. Just do small things in a big way. Then transformation will follow you.